A lot of people don't realize the moment you start growing, the moment you start changing, the moment you start taking your life seriously, something strange happens. The haters appear. The criticism gets louder. The jealousy becomes more obvious. The envy starts showing itself. People who used to support you suddenly become distant. People who never had much to say suddenly have plenty of opinions. And if you ever found yourself dealing with criticism, rejection, jealous people, self doubt, or constantly seeking approval from others, I want you to pay close attention because this video is for you. Maybe you've wondered, why do people hate successful people? Why do some people seem uncomfortable when I start growing? Why do I care so much about what other people think? Why does criticism affect me so deeply? Why am I struggling with confidence when I'm actually making progress? These questions are more common than you think, and the answers may surprise you because most people think the problem is the haters, but the real battle is often happening inside of us. So let's talk about it, and more importantly, let's fix it. The first thing you need to understand, your growth reminds people of what they're avoiding. Think about that. Your growth reminds people of what they're avoiding. And this is one of the biggest reasons jealousy and envy show up. Not because you've done something wrong, not because you're trying to make anyone feel bad, simply because your progress creates contrast. When someone sees you becoming more disciplined, more focused, more confident, more intentional, it forces them to look at their own life. And not everyone wants to do that. I remember realizing this years ago. There were moments when I thought, why are people reacting this way? Why does this person seem bothered by my progress? Why does this criticism feel so personal? Then I realized something. Some people weren't reacting to me. They were reacting to what my growth represented because my growth exposed stagnation. And not everyone is ready for that. So here's your first challenge. Stop taking every negative reaction personally. Not every criticism is actually about you. Sometimes it's about what your growth reveals in someone else. Now, the second thing, not every criticism deserves a seat at your table. That's a lesson every man eventually needs to learn because criticism comes from different places. Some criticism is helpful. Some criticism is honest, and some criticism helps you grow. But there are some criticisms that exist only to discourage you. And if you're not careful, you'll treat them both the same when you shouldn't. I used to struggle with this. Every negative comment, every opinion, every piece of criticism, I would carry it around mentally and replay it and analyze it, think about it repeatedly. And eventually I realized I was giving strangers influence they hadn't earned. And that's dangerous because the wrong voices can quietly shape your identity. So here's a question. Would you take financial advice from someone who is broke? Would you take marriage advice from someone whose relationships are falling apart? Probably not. Then why do we allow random criticism to control our emotions? You have to learn to evaluate the source. Not every opinion deserves your attention. So here's your second challenge. The next time criticism comes your way, ask yourself, is this helping me grow or is this simply distracting me? Because wisdom knows the difference. Now, let's get into our third insight. The moment you need everyone's approval, you've become controlled by everyone. This is where people pleasing becomes dangerous. And many good people fall into this trap. You want to make everyone happy. You want everyone to understand you. You want everyone to support you. You want everyone to approve of your decisions. But that's impossible. And the harder you chase approval, the less freedom you have. Because now every decision is filtered through what will people think? Will they approve? Will they understand? And eventually people pleasing becomes a prison. I've been there, second guessing decisions, overthinking conversations, trying to avoid upsetting people, trying to explain myself constantly. And it was exhausting because confidence cannot grow where approval is required. Remember that. Confidence cannot grow where approval is required. At some point, you have to become comfortable disappointing people, not by being rude and not by being arrogant, but by living according to the conviction instead of approval. All right. So here's your third challenge. Ask yourself honestly, whose approval am I chasing? Because that answer reveals more than you think. Now, let's get on to the fourth point. Your job is not to manage their emotions. Your job is to keep growing. This is where emotional resilience becomes so important because life guarantees criticism. Life guarantees rejection. Life guarantees misunderstanding. Even Yeshua experienced all three. People criticized him, misunderstood him, rejected him, yet he never stopped moving forward. Why? Because he understood his mission. And when a man understands his mission, he becomes harder to distract. That's one of the reasons personal growth matters so much. Growth strengthens your confidence. Growth strengthens your discipline. Growth strengthens your emotional resilience. Growth helps you stay focused when others want you distracted. And that's exactly why some people become uncomfortable, because growth changes you. I think one of the most powerful lessons I've learned is this. Not everyone wants to see you win. Not everyone wants to see you grow. Not everyone wants to see you become stronger. And that's okay, because their approval was never required for that in the first place. Your responsibility is not to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Your responsibility is to keep building, keep growing, keep learning, keep becoming the man God called you to be. So here's your fourth challenge. Stop looking sideways. Stop measuring yourself against everyone else. Focus on your mission. Focus on your growth. Focus on your next step. Because the people who matter most won't be threatened by your growth. They'll be inspired by it. So let's bring all this together. If you've been struggling with haters, jealousy, envy, criticism, rejection, people pleasing, or self-doubt, remember this. Your growth will create contrast. Not every criticism deserves your attention. Approval is a dangerous addiction, and your job is not to manage everyone else's emotions. Your job is to keep growing. Now, before you go, like always, I want to ask you something. Which one affects you the most right now? Criticism, jealous people, rejection, or self-doubt? I want you to drop it in the comments. And if you've learned how to stop caring about what people think, what helped you? Your answer might give somebody else who's fighting that same battle right now insight, all right? And if you're searching for ways to strengthen your discipline, self-control, focus, and consistency, I want you to download Book 1, Discipline Over Desires, Mastering the War Within. In this book, I give insight and challenges on how to do just that, and the link is in the description below. Also, I now have Book 2 completed, The Weight of Leadership, Authority Without Control. Learn how to lead with confidence, responsibility, and emotional maturity. And I also have the link for that in the description as well. I also want you to join my free newsletter, the King's Forge newsletter, all right, for weekly insights on masculinity, discipline, leadership, purpose, and spiritual growth. So be sure to download the Substack app as well to see the full archive and teachings and insights. And I want you to subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications so you know when the next video drops. So remember, you do not need everyone's approval to fulfill your purpose. Keep building anyway.